Feel we're continuing the alternate future of the world series. And well, the new Chinese Republic basically decides to go irredentist and imperialist. Yep, and dictatorshipish. And well, and likely a few more nations are starting to see the neutral league as good or independent, which Cameroon is eyeing, and the Central African Republic, Mozambique, Mali, and Libya are all eyeing that, and Tunisia as a possible solution. And well, they decide to give the state Northern Siberia second independence, but only if they stay in the alliance. If they leave, they can be invaded, basically. Now for what you've been waiting for. With them believing they can take on everyone, basically. Well, maybe not everyone. They think they can take on all of these nations. And you may be wondering, how do they do this? Well, quickly, as the war is just beginning, as they're preparing all the other fronts to be fully ready. They already had this front completely ready. And they quickly use this to move in, to create a spearhead, which they use to encircle, well, Ulaanbaatar, the capital, and they take it. That leads to their surrender. With them now starting their Korean invasion, which they create a stalemate, so they work on the invasions here, which take a while, very long time to get through, but they finally do. And during that time, they started their offensive into Indochina, and their offensive into Central Asia. And there may or may not be a nation that doesn't quite like this, so they decide to join into the war. This is Iran, with the goal of taking over Turkmenistan. With them moving in. How about the time I mixed up Uzbekistan and Turkmenistan? That's bad. But yeah. And well, they quickly advanced further. And well, eventually they managed to connect with Iranian forces, leading to a front line like this. During this time, they started to spearhead towards the capital, which is Astana, and they move up quickly, seizing it and taking it, which basically takes the capital of this area. And well, a bigger offensive is launched into Indochina. It does not go really well. They start getting themselves into a guerrilla war, basically. So yeah, they have to deal with partisanship too. I guess that's not really great. I mean, what's the worst that could happen with partisan activity? Just ignore it is what they do. Which, you may think, oh, that's probably a great idea. Well, no. That was a bad idea. It means, basically now, it ends up like this, meaning they're basically cut off. But due to a solution, just use water, basically. And they move in even further south. You may say, oh, they're doing pretty good. You're saying that, but yeah, this is not fun looking. And well, let's see how the offensive in Korea goes. Well, it actually goes really well now. And well, after Astana fell, they use this to quickly connect up with the northern area, and they move troops into Iran's front to move up the coast. And shortly after, they see there's no point in continuing this. With the Chinese forces landing in Sakhalin, and then landing in this area in Kamchatka, or Siberia, whatever you want to say. And they also take Japan's southern island over, with them reconnecting here. And quickly the front turns like that, with them agreeing with Japan for a mild peace treaty for Japan, In turn, they just take Sakhalin. And maybe a few islands around. Well, there. With them now deciding to go on another offensive. Which is the offensive where they start trying to take control of this area instead of just a few strategic areas. But they're making more stands. Maybe you should just give up, but they don't want to. With them moving this pocket of resistance and this one to get rid of it, quickly after, they start having success in this. Which leads to them becoming even worse at holding this. As they end up with this small occupied area and realizing that there's no point, this pocket surrenders. So let's see the peace treaty. Well, we know it's going to be a big one. So let's see it. China decided to puppet Indochina and Central Asia. And they annexed some areas of Uzbekistan and areas of... Wait, they did annex Uzbekistan, it looks like. No, they didn't. But yeah. And then Iran annexed Turkmenistan and a bit of Kazakhstan to connect the front. No, bit of Uzbekistan to connect to China's annexations. And well, they decide to create a treaty. And they decide to be cruel and make Japan pay reparations. And Japan doesn't like this. How they just got bullied around. But it didn't say they couldn't create one. They realized. Then comes the creation of another alliance. India, Thailand, Malaysia, Australia, Papua New Guinea, and New Zealand decide to sign it. And the Philippines. It's a defense treaty they basically sign. Kind of like, attack one, attack all kind of defense treaty. And a lot of nations don't like this. Well, by a lot of nations, I mean 2 nations. Pakistan and Myanmar decided to join with China, and they build railroads, basically, I guess. Now we have 4 alliances, and 2 don't like each other. Now for the independent of a few nations. With Mozambique, Cameroon, and, well, the Central African Republic, Mali, a few nations over here, Libya, all decide to declare independence. So let's see what it looks like in 3 pieces. Yeah. And, well, the neutral pact manages to get some expansion out of this. They're basically just a pact designed to defend neutral nations. Every neutral nation joins. Just defend them, if needed. And, well, that's pretty much all for today's video. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Wild Mapper out, but not until you subscribe. Bye, guys!